You can plant trees if you're good at planting. I am not very good at planting at all. I can't help you plant trees if you buy a property from me. I'm sorry, they'll all die. But yeah, you can get 30 plus acres for around 100K in this area. What is up, everyone? In today's episode, found a great piece of land and it's under 100K. 35 plus acres, under 100K. Is that even possible? Well, stay tuned with me. We'll check out the area and where you can find land for around 100K for roughly 30 plus acres. So stay tuned and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out a lot and you stay up to date on everything Evanston, Wyoming. Let's hop right into it. So I am actually out here where you can buy some land, 30 acres for around that 100K mark, 30 plus acres. If you see 30 plus acres for around that 100K range, this is where it's probably most likely going to be in the Evanston area. So it's going to be right by Piedmont Kilns. So the kilns, they're like these beehive-shaped tower things, and they were actually made to make charcoal back in like 1863. They would get all this wood from the Uinta Mountains right down the road and make charcoal out of them. That kind of went away in the 1900s, but it's a beautiful area. It's known for the kilns and the little ghost town right there. It's kind of cool. There's a bunch of little houses that are all kind of falling apart. They're really kind of cool because they're really, really old. So if you're ever out in the Piedmont area, definitely check those out, even if you're not trying to buy land out here. But if you are, let's talk about the land here in Piedmont. So it's roughly about 20 miles away from town. So you come down, you can turn by Sulphur Creek, or you can come off the highway and go down towards the kilns. And this area, you don't get a lot of trees. Some lots do have a couple trees on them, but most of it is kind of sagebrush, rolling hills throughout the area. You can plant trees if you're good at planting. I am not very good at planting at all. I can't help you plant trees if you buy a property from me. I'm sorry, they'll all die. But yeah, you can get 30 plus acres for around 100K in this area, which seems like a screaming deal, and it can be depending on your situation, on what you're wanting in life. Hey y'all, are you thinking about relocating to Evanston, Wyoming? My team and I have developed the ultimate relocation guide, and it's 100% free. Down in the description, let me know what you think. Have a great day. The one big con about this area has to be the winter maintenance. So out here, they don't plow the roads. There's no winter maintenance around. So if there's a snowstorm, which there always is in the winters, because our winters last way longer than our summers, you may or may not be able to get in and out of your property. Most people are like, well, I'll just plow it or shovel it myself. It could be 7-8 miles of plowing. And there is some people up here that live here full time. I don't know what they do. They might snowmobile back and forth, or they might plow their own roads. For the general public, we always tell people there's no winter maintenance, buyer beware. If you're stuck there in the winter, you might have to get a set of snowshoes and hike out, or a snowmobile and go back and forth. I used to actually have a baker in Smiths she lived up in the Uinta Mountains, and it was the same situation where she would every morning wake up and at like 2 a.m, get on her snowmobile and snowmobile down to her car. So that's probably the biggest con about this area. The pro though is, heck, 30 plus acres, 100 grand. You can't find land very reasonable anywhere in the US for that price. So for 100 grand for 30 plus acres is a screaming deal depending on where you're at. So another thing we got to talk about is if you're planning on building a house out here, you're good with the snowmobiling, you're good with the snow aspect. Let's talk about utilities. So utilities, there's no real power lines around here. So you're going to be left to like one of those solar panels or wind turbine systems with battery backups. It's kind of how you're going to have to get your power. To run power lines would be super expensive out here. So they don't have them out here. So you're going to be off-grid living, which a lot of people are looking for. So you're going to have your own well, and you can drill a well out here. There is a community well, and I'll go over that right now in this other video real quick. So this is the community well that people that I tell people about here in the Piedmont area. Everyone thinks the well is like a giant community well you can just run to your house and tap into. And it's not. It is this well where you bring a little generator out and plug that into the little box, and then the wellhead will pump the water, and you'll get water right here. It's not throughout the complex, but it is right here. It is really helpful and resourceful to getting water out here in Piedmont. You just show up, hook up your generator, hook up your hose, and you can fill up those big bags or those big almost like pallet water things, and you can haul them up to your property. There is a well out here, part of the HOA. You have to have a generator and you have to pump it into a truck. That's how the well works out here in Piedmont. We got everything hooked up. We have running water. It works great out here. Just make sure you purify it before you drink it. Always a good tip on wells that you're not aware of. There is a well out here, but it's not linked to your property. You can drill your own well out here, and you can do a septic system and a solar system and have utilities and live out here year round. But that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to do a septic, a well, and a solar system to be able to survive and thrive out here. And the craziest thing is like, oh, I'm buying all this land in the middle of nowhere. Most people don't think of an HOA. So out here, in all these parcels of land, there is actually an HOA, which some people think is a great thing. Some people don't like it. The good thing is the HOA fee is less than $400 or $500 per year. It depends on the size of your lot. It's not very expensive, and that's per year, not per month. So less than $500 per year for your HOA. And they do grade the roads and they maintain the community well. They just don't plow the roads. But there are some rules and regulations to that I believe it keeps the area clean and tidy and some of the riffraff out of here. Most of the roads are private roads and there's no trespassing on most of it. So with the HOA, there is some rules. If you're thinking about bringing in a house or building a house out here, you have to have a foundation. You have to have a normal stick-built home or a manufacturer modular. With the manufacturer modular, it has to be no more than 1 year old. So it has to be a new manufacturer modular. And when you're developing your land and you're putting a manufacturer modular on your land, I always recommend buy it new, put it in the location, and leave it there. Whenever you have manufacturer modular homes that you've bought in somewhere else and then moved to a secondary location, the resale on that is super, super hard. So in order to sell it, it would have to be like a cash deal only if it's been moved more than once. And once being like they built it in the factory and they moved it to that land. That is once. Once you move it from that land, it's moved twice now. Just beware that 1 year old is the limit for out here. So they don't want people bringing old trailers or manufactured out to this area and just dumping them off and making trailer parks or anything like that. And with that being said, you have 35 acres. You're thinking about a family compound? Sorry, the HOA rules say that you can't put up hotels and multifamily residents out here. You're limited to one primary residence per tract. The tracts are in the 35 acre parcels or 30 acre parcels or somewhere right in that 30 acre range. So only one residence on one piece of property at a time. They don't want hotels or lots of like mini house gatherings or a bunch of riffraff. Another thing they have is you can stay in your camper for like 2 weeks out here. You can't live permanently in your camper trailer out here. So you're not going to see people setting up a KOA out here with a bunch of campers. They try and really keep the land beautiful and nice and not a whole lot of stuff in it just to keep that aesthetic beauty out here. So another thing they don't like is auto shops or junkyards or commercial property moving in. They don't want a bunch of stuff like that. So there it is in the HOA that you can't have an auto repair clinic out here. Everything has to be upkept and in a clean manner out here to really respect the land and what it has going for it. So with all those rules, like what do people do with their land then out here, right? So most people out here with their land, they use it as recreational land. They can bring their four-wheelers up here and their dirt bikes and their snowmobiles in the winter and play around on it. you can build a little cabin, snowmobile up to your cabin, enjoy time with your family and friends up here in the remote secludity of this Piedmont area. That's what most people do with this land. They use it as a remote off-grid cabin where they can come and spend time with their families and loved ones. That's most of this land is what it's used for. There is people that live here full time, and that is an option for you if you're willing to take that leap of being completely off-grid and remote from people. But you can still get 30 plus acres for around $100,000 here in Evanston, Wyoming. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions thinking about buying or selling in the next 9 or 90 days, definitely let me know. I love to help people move in and out of Evanston, Wyoming. I generate a ton of friends that way. So definitely let me know if you're thinking about moving here. And you guys have a great week, and we'll see you next week.